Hello and welcome to the British Gaming Podcast. It's the 30th of August 2016. I'm Sam Webster, and with me is Terry Kane.
Hey, good evening.
Haha. We've got one hell of a show lined up for you tonight, guys. We've got on the docket what we've been playing, staple, always there. My question of the week, a little bit about Unfamiliar Skies, my comic that launched over the weekend. No Man's Sky being subject to a lot of refund requests. Did they lie? Could it have gone better? Stick around and find out. Metal Gear Solid 5 gets a definitive edition that still doesn't include the ending. And what is on the topic list, I'm reading this verbatim, as fucking GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Terry, enlighten us. What have you been playing?
I've been playing more Metroid. I picked up Zero Mission on the Virtual Console.
All right.
Yeah, I really don't know why I never played these games years ago. They're so good. I can see why everyone loves them.
See, I dabbled with Zero Mission for a while, and I didn't get very far. I think I sort of got to a point where I was like, loaded up a save file that I hadn't touched in a couple of weeks and couldn't remember where the hell I was going.
Yeah, I can see that being a sort of game where you need to just kind of stick at it rather than doing short bursts.
Mm. How
Which,
did you find everything in general? I mean, you said you loved it, so that's got to be good.
yeah, well, I mean, like, what got me playing it was all the hype around another Metroid 2 remake. So I played that a bit. I was like, oh, wow, this is really good. Played the original version of Metroid 2. I was like, oh, wow, this is probably good at the time, but not good now.
Yeah.
And and then I read somewhere online, it's like, oh, yeah, they basically just used the Metroid Zero Mission engine and essentially kind of did a ROM hack, but like, you know, more, a bit more than that and released it for PC. I was like, oh, okay. Played Zero Missions. I was like, yeah, I can see where that comes from.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Also, yeah, so I was going to get the Game Boy Advance version because I saw it on eBay for like a tenner for cartridge the other day. But now they've shot back up again to like 30 quid. So I was like, screw that. I'll get a Virtual Console release.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You should have grabbed it while you could.
I know, but on the plus side, at least I can play it on my TV. I mean, I suppose I could have played on my TV with an emulator and stuff, and I'd have owned the cartridge anyway. But, you know.
Yeah, be fine.
Yeah, it looks fine enough. Like when I saw the pictures on the Wii U eShop, I thought, "Oh, that looks pretty crap." But when I'm playing it in action, it looks better than the pictures make it look. The pictures on Virtual Console, the screenshots are really deceptive and for the worst.
So they look worse than the actual game is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, not great advertising on Nintendo's part, that's for sure.
No, I can imagine.
But then they're still kind of playing catch up when it comes to eShops anyway. So yeah.
Nintendo playing catch up in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, good God. It's like, I think the NX is looking to be competing with PS4 and Xbox One. It's like, that's their next console. They're basically in the boat that Sega were in with Dreamcast.
No. The NX is not competing with the PS4 or the Xbox One. The NX, I've already said, won't have that power. It's, a handheld console that you can dock to a TV. It's using the NVIDIA Shield.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, I saw another thing where they were looking to get some to make sure they get the same kind of mainstream support that like PS4 and Xbox One get with third party.
The reports I've had make it look like they're paving their own road. They specifically mentioned that Shield
Oh God!
and showed what that can do, which, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 quality, sure, no problem. It's this thing where they seem to be tired of having a handheld and a home console and having the two separate markets. They just want to have both. Naturally, the 3DS sells a lot better than the Wii U. And the whole concept seems to be like a Wii U in reverse, because the Wii U was a home console that, you sort of could take around with you if you wanted. Whereas this seems to be something you primarily carry around, and then when you get home, plug it into the TV if you want the big screen experience.
Oh, not sure if one.
There were screenshots of the controllers as well, which sort of attach onto the side for when you're out and about. So, like, imagine if the Wii U gamepad, if the sides of the buttons on were detachable.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so you can carry it around like that, sort of gamepad style, or when you get home, you can dock that, plug it into a TV, detach the controller, and then hold it in your hand.
Oh,
Yeah, so you'd sort of like detach it from the sides of the console, and then from the look of things, they slot into each other to form a little controller.
jeez.
Yeah, while the main screen bit hooks up to your TV.
Well, R.I.P. Nintendo.
Yeah, there goes my interest too. Don't worry.
God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Look, I mean, the schematics look fucking awful. What's out? And it's just like some basic black and white drawings, just line art shit,
Yeah.
and it looks terrible. I have zero interest. Like, I want something eventually to play Zelda on because the new Zelda looks pretty cool, even if it is a big departure and going into a survival game. But we are getting way off topic. What else have you played?
Yeah. Well, in regards to that Zelda, that's going to be on Wii U as well, so I'm sorted for that.
Ah, fucker.
What else have I been playing? I played this interesting ROM hack. It's called Pokemon Liquid Crystal. I think it came out before like Soul Silver and Heart Gold because it uses the Pokemon like Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, Leaf Green, Fire Red engine, like sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
So what's the main gimmick of the hack? Because usually these hacks have a little.
well, no, it's literally just a remake of Pokemon Crystal, but in that engine.
Oh, that sounds kind of cool.
It's pretty cool. I mean, in terms of aesthetics, I actually prefer the Fire Red, Leaf Green look to like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond Pearl generation. I don't know what it is.
Well, is that not the generation where they kept the 2D sprites but made the buildings 3D?
No, oh, what Diamond and Pearl do you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that is, which just doesn't look right to me.
Mm. Yeah, I'm sure that's the generation, because then Heart Gold, Soul Silver would have been in that same style, and I can see that not being up your street at all.
Nah, well, hence why I sold my Soul Silver eventually. Although I kind of regret that now, seeing how much they bloody go for.
Yeah, we've got Heart Gold and Soul Silver boxed with the Poker Walkers, and I keep telling the other half, no, we're keeping them.
Yeah, definitely keep them. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, I still regret getting rid of Banjo-Tooie when I was a student and short on rent, so...
Oh God.
Yeah. But,
So yeah, games playing.
yes. If you want, I can jump in, because I know mine.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead with yours. I can't think of what else I've been playing because, like, I know I've played more than what I've said so far this week, but goodbye, brain.
Clearly didn't leave much of an impression on you.
I guess not.
No. So, I've been playing Dragon Quest Heroes still. Finally got the Platinum Trophy. It only took 52 hours and 25 minutes of gameplay.
Only.
Speaking of long games for Platinums, Dead Rising 2 is now on the go because Dead Rising 3 has turned up in the post for PC.
Huh.
I've installed it. It's on my Steam right now. But I'm being pedantic and saying I kind of want to run through Dead Rising 2 first. So, and because I played it previously on the Xbox 360, I don't have my save. I don't have my leveled up character or anything, so that's proving interesting. So far, like a level 1 playthrough, and out of 13 possible survivors, I believe I have 10. Which isn't bad going, considering I've only been able to get up to like level 6 or so, and that level up came from bringing back like 6 survivors at once, and the experience points were just ba-da-bop, 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 ba-da-bop. What else? I tried Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop on the Wii.
How do you go on with that?
It's kind of... I like it and I hate it. I like it because I'm quite impressed with what they were able to do on the Wii with Dead Rising, considering they were porting an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah.
I like it for the guns. The guns are a lot easier now. You can, just point the Wiimote around and kaboom. Much, much better aiming. And you can also do variable speeds, which you can't do with analog sticks.
It's surprising hearing Wii motion controller aim instead in a positive light.
Yeah, no, it actually works quite well in that game.
Huh,
I
weird.
got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, saying that, they did do a good job with Resi 4 on Wii, so it's not surprising Capcom managed to carry that over to Dead Rising.
To shit on it, obviously the textures are lower quality, the models have fewer polygons, the cutscenes, they literally recorded the Xbox 360 HD cutscenes, scrunched them down to 480p, and then shoved those on the disc as FMVs.
Oh.
Which makes it really obvious when the cutscene ends and the game begins, because you go from the Xbox 360 models in the obviously pre-recorded stuff to then the in-game models. And there's a difference. There's quite a difference. The way the game is laid out is different. So before it was, essentially a sandbox and you're on the time limit and you had to, you could fail the main mission and all the rest of it. Now it seems to be Otis gives me a mission to save a particular person from a particular place. I am timed on that mission, and when I get back, I get ranked based on whether I managed to save the person, how long it took me, how much damage I took, and how many zombies I managed to kill. So you get, like a B, an A, an S, so on and so forth. Don't like that. Also not quite fond of, obviously it's a lower zombie count on screen. Has to be. We can't process as many as the Xbox 360. Fine, I'll accept that. However, they do seem to have arbitrarily blocked off certain bits of the mall, and it's not for what you'd think it would be for, which would be for power and locking entire areas away to make the map smaller. No, this is like there are bits when you're going down the main promenade of the mall. And there's some grassy shit in the middle, yeah. So you can walk either side of it. For some reason, they've decided to block off one side with cleaners buckets and shit, so that you can only go around it one way, which is really annoying because then it becomes quite linear. Whereas before, even if they were only small choices, you had the choices of saying, well, there's a lot of zombies on that side, so I'm going to curl around this side and avoid them. You can't do that now. Yeah, so it's got its good points, it's got its bad points. I'm really looking forward to having the proper Dead Rising 1 back in September. I don't think I'll have it until October, because I pre-ordered it from PlayAsia, because no fucking physical EU release. So it's the American-US copy coming, but the airmail can take up to 30 calendar days once they ship it. And obviously it might go through customs, so that might delay it. There might be handling charges and all the rest of it. So we'll see. I'm kind of tempted, depending on how irresponsible I want to be with money, to buy the download copy while I wait for the bloody physical copy. However, that said, my internet is not getting upgraded until, I believe it's October, that we'll finally have fiber, and long-time listeners of the podcast will know how hard I've campaigned for fiber broadband. I don't trust BT not to fuck that up. Well, OpenReach, technically, them and BT are technically separate, even if in operation they're really not. So I don't fucking trust them to actually... What I've said is they're doing the work mid-September, and then orders should be available in October for me to then have fiber by the end of October.
Yeah.
Which sounds great, as long as they actually fucking do it. So yeah, that's going to be interesting, but in the meantime, if I buy Dead Rising Digital on launch, it's still going to take 5 fucking days to download.
Yeah. If you do end up going that route, though, it'd probably make more sense to get the PC version, so then at least when mods come out, but probably when, you got that for that.
True, and my Dead Rising 3 is on PC now, and when Dead Rising 4 comes out, I can't get my words out properly today, it will initially be an Xbox One exclusive with a PC release, so... if I then pick up Dead Rising 2, I could just have them all on Steam.
Yeah, mod all you want.
Yeah.
Mod
plus, it'd be an excuse to fucking play them all again. Like, honestly, the number of playthroughs through those games has got to rival, if not exceed, Batman Arkham.
Bloody hell.
I love that reaction. Why you fucking twat.
Oh, by the way, I remembered the other game.
What was the other game?
Final Fight.
No, King Final Fight. Yes, we played Final Fight together. It was awesome. And there is a video on the British Gaming Blog YouTube page, which is probably where you're listening to the podcast right now.
Probably, although we do have an archive now. I sorted it.
Hey, you can listen to us on Google Drive. You can also stream us on Google Drive.
Or, like, just download us from it. Just download, stream, whatever you want to do, really.
You can download from Google Drive.
Yeah.
You can do all of the things from Google Drive.
I gotta give props to them, and we're not being sponsored by them. Although, if you guys want to sponsor us at Google, if you're listening, feel free.
You heard me go through our fucking statistics like half an hour ago, right? Google do not want to sponsor us.
But no, like when I was trying to set up all the streaming options and everything, I was like, "Ooh, there's that option. Ooh, there's that option." And the whole time I was like, "This is really intuitive, and everything I want it to do, it does."
Okay, there you go, people. Google Drive. For when you need to get podcasts uploaded and shit. Yeah, hey, if I get this fucking fiber in October, I can actually live stream and stuff.
Oh, cripes, yeah.
Yeah. Ah, that's something.
Well, they're saying that even on my connection, I struggle to stream.
Really?
Yeah, well, mine's 70 meg download, but it's only 5 meg upload.
Ah, okay.
So like, I suppose I could upgrade to like the 140 meg package to get like 20 meg upload, which I'd be sorted, but it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, whereas like, I talk to people who are on like BT OpenReach or whatever, and they're on the 70 meg package, and they're just like, "Oh, what? Your upload speed's crap." Yeah, my upload speed's like 20 meg, and I'm just like, "Yeah, but how much are you paying?" And they're like, "I can't remember how much, but it's the same as the 140 meg package on Virgin Media." So basically, I'm paying the equivalent of the 35 meg package on OpenReach.
Okay. OpenReach are just responsible for laying the cable, so it'd be BT actually offering the service once it's in.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, just clarifying for anyone listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, games.
Yeah.
This week. Dragon Quest, Dead Rising 2, and I now have, for the journey to and from work each day, I'm playing through Ocarina of Time 3D.
Oh, yeah, I saw you got that. How far have you gotten into that on the 3D version?
Not very. I'm just about to get into Hyrule Castle. You know, the really shitty forced stealth bit.
Oh, that bit.
Yeah. But because I recently played through it on the N64 version for a certain top 10 list that should be out in the next couple of days, I'm really noticing the difference.
Yeah, I was going to say, I played through some games for that list as well. Like, that's why I was on an hour. I was thinking, oh, I played that. Nope, that's for the list. I played that. Nope, that's for the list.
Yeah.
But
I figure I can sort of mention one. That's fine.
But I have got my footage now, and it's going to be finished editing tonight if I get it. Well, I should be able to get it done tonight, actually. Well, hey.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do some more editing tonight. I probably won't have mine finished tonight because it's going to be 20-odd minutes by the time it's done.
Bloody hell. Mine's more like 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, but you've got 5 entries.
Yeah, true. I've
got the full 10, so if you take yours and double it, you're getting close to mine.
True, yeah. Well, yeah. I reckon on the next list I'll probably be able to get 10 with... we agreed on top 10 racing, didn't we?
We did, yeah. I've already got some picks.
Yeah, I've already got some of mine as well, although not from me sort of actively making a list, just because I'm just like, well, I know that's going on the list, and I know that's going on there. Yeah, like you can probably guess one of mine that's definitely going on there. I was like going on at you to get in the sale the other day.
Yes, Terry, I know which one you're on. But speaking of making things and having them come out, I launched a new comic this weekend at Melksham Comic Con. It's called Unfamiliar Skies. It's about a 19-year-old girl called Clarice Muston, who's a runaway in space. So I'm sure we've all had the thing when we were teenagers, like 13, 14. You run away from home and you end up on a bench outside of Sainsbury's at like 2 a.m. going, this is fucking shit. Imagine doing that, but in a space. The story is very much a case of she's in way over her head, things escalate very, very quickly, and she has little to no control over the situation. It's actually had one glowing review already, which
Nice.
called it, what was the exact quote? It's along the lines of, an unashamedly fun ride from start to finish. That's a fucking pull quote. Right. However, I don't know how many conventions I'm going to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is only about my not even my fourth convention selling this year. It's maybe my third convention selling and about my fifth convention total.
Yeah. So this convention that you launched at was Melksham Comic Con, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Literally weekend just gone, the 27th, 28th. And there's an MCM in Birmingham at the NEC in November, and tables open for that at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. I was going to apply. I might not now.
What put you off?
I think I need to find a different way of doing things. Like, conventions, the highlights of Melksham this weekend were the Saturday night party, where I hung out with the other artists and had beers and stuff with them. And the Sunday, there was a Pictionary panel that literally the place just emptied out. Everyone went to the Pictionary panel. So all the artists were just sort of milling about and having a chat for an hour because we weren't going to make any sales and no one was in the room. They were all watching Pictionary. Yeah, that's how hard we party at those conventions. Pictionary's a main fucking event, motherfuckers. Seriously though, it's hilarious and awesome. Oh, and I won one of the other game shows. They do one called Just a Minute, where they give you a topic and you have to talk about it for a minute uninterrupted without repeating yourself and without hesitating. And if one of the other contestants catches you doing any of those things, they not only get a point for calling you on it, but they then take over from where you left off. And if they can finish, they'll steal your point. So say one person stopped me and caught me on something with 0.24 seconds on the fucking clock.
Oh.
Yeah. I won. It was an excellent little panel. It'll be going up on YouTube. PCG, they're called. So, yeah, keep an eye open for that. We'll probably link to it somewhere on our Facebook or Twitter or something once it's up. But, yeah, so the actual selling, I'm getting a little... Number one, there are health things with... which is triggered by both stress and certain dietary bits. So going to a convention like Melksham isn't very stressful because it's local, it's nearby, and I know everybody there. You know, it's run by my local comic shop, for fuck's sake. It's a really nice, good atmosphere convention. I love it for that. Food-wise, there are a few places you can go out to eat, but mostly just me this year. The other half didn't really come along. She popped in for a bit, but you know, if you leave to go into town and get food, then you're abandoning your table for a bit and missing potential sales. And that was the other thing. Like, you don't really go out and experience the convention. You don't go to the panels you want to go to. You don't meet the guests that you want to meet because you've got to man your table.
Ooh.
You know? It's because no one's going to do it for you. It's one of those things where I have to question what I make comics for, why I want to do it. So Arcadia was drawn mostly out of frustration. I was in a minimum wage job at the time. I felt like although I'd gone and gotten my degree, I hadn't done a whole lot else. And I was just sitting around sort of wasted. Not wasted as in drunk or high, but, wasted some wasted potential, just to clarify. And then I went to, it was, I think, the very first Melksham Comic-Con, and there were two guys there, John Locke, Nick Angel gave a panel, and they were my age, similar commitments, and yet they had both banged out a comic. No fucking excuses, So, yeah, Arcadia was mostly drawn out of frustration and to feel like I'd achieved some. Then by the time Joe Cape rolled around, or at least the first issue of it, I still didn't like my day job at all. And I, knew that if I wanted to apply for Marvel, DC, Vertigo, etc., I would need to have some superhero stuff in my portfolio. So that was the main decision behind doing a superhero comic.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah. But I was like, well, I can still do it funny. I can still put a new twist on it. I can still, because I was doing shitty customer service at the time. So I was like, and the main inspiration was Superman doesn't have to put up with this bullshit. Oh, wait, what if he did? It came from there. Now, issue 2 is noticeably darker because by that point I was in a different job, which I'm not going to talk about too much, but it had me signed off for stress, anxiety, panic attacks, and borderline depression for a number of weeks. And Joe Cape 2 is noticeably darker than either of its brethren. It really is the Empire Strikes Back of the 3 issues.
I think I picked up on that a bit.
Yeah. Shit. So you knew what was going on with me at the time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we come into issue 3, and I had my first design job by issue 3. And this shows you how long it takes for an indie to make a fucking issue, right? So I had my design job, the family were happy and healthy, and Joe Cape issue 3 is a bit more upbeat because of that. By the time now that Unfamiliar Skies has rolled around, I'm no longer on the first rung of that design career. I'm, considered a specialist. I've got a respectable salary. I enjoy the work I do. So I don't see comics as a job or a potential replacement income anymore. It's back to being a hobby. It's back to being a lot more doing it for me. And if I'm doing it for me, do I need to keep schlepping up and down the country to every convention? Because reasons for doing a convention. Number 1, money. Well, I ain't fucking making money. If anything, most conventions I make a loss. Number 2, socializing. I love seeing those guys, but I see, a lot. You get like a little convention family. That's really true. I've seen one person from the convention circuit socially outside of the convention circuit. Like one person where we've made the effort to meet up outside of convention time. And I also have to question, if I have to be actively working on and selling a comic to have a seat at the table, then what's the seat worth? Like, I would like to think that those guys will still be my friends, even if I'm not actively schlepping up and down. Like, I can still go grab a beer with them. They're nice, decent people. They're not, I don't only have a seat at the table because I have a comic.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, that started out sounding like it's a criticism, but actually it was a really backwards compliment to say I don't fear being excluded if I stop going to conventions.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably still be quite included.
Yeah. Until they listen to this and they'll be like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. Probably. So the social element, I would like to think that whether I'm going to conventions regularly or not is not, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And doesn't factor into it. So, okay, visiting different parts of the country, that's got to be quite nice. Well, a lot of the time I end up behind my table all weekend, and it's, when I went to Leeds, I got really sick. We're talking about the earlier, the diet issues, because you're like, oh shit, what's around? And most of the time it's fast food, or the best you'll get is a fucking Subway. And that'll set me off. That'll do it. And the stress of, I'm how many miles away from the missus and the kids. If anything happens, I can't get back because I'm relying on public transport, yada yada. I've spent X amount of money to be here. Thought Bubble in Leeds, I spent near enough 400 to be there. The weekend, I took 50 quid. So obviously the money side of things can cause stress. Which it's not fucking worth it sometimes. This is a video game podcast, I promise people.
Is this the kind of stuff you covered on your panel?
No, not at all. The stuff I covered on my panel was very different. It was raw maths. Unfortunately, my camcorder died halfway through it, so I don't have the recording.
Oh, no.
But I do have an article on my website, which the panel was based on, called The Economics of Indie Comics. It's more or less the same content. I just updated the examples, and what's really scary is I updated the examples to more recent releases, and the examples still hold true. It's still the exact same running theme, even with using a completely different movie and comic.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's kind of... The comic industry is not in a good place. The people perceive it to be because of the movies, but it's really not. And, like, the article gets to that eventually, but that's a big, like, smack in the face. So I led with that for the panel. That was up front for the panel. Ideally, am I going to cons to expand my audience? Well, no, because it's a very insular thing. The comics community is quite a small community. At the moment, I'm selling to people who have, been and gone before. Case in point, I sold 2 issues of Joe Cape while I was at Melksham, because everyone who goes to Melksham already fucking has it. It's the same people. And I'm talking attendees, not exhibitors necessarily, but certainly attendees. And if you go to something like MCM, well, 133,152 people went to MCM over the course of the weekend in May 2016. Captain America issue 1 in May 2016, to use the stats from the panel I did, just shy of 100,000 copies sold worldwide. So if you look at across the globe how many different territories comics exist in, and you think in one city in the UK over one weekend there was 130% of the amount of people Captain America issue fucking 1 sold to were in one room. Meanwhile, the Captain America Civil War movie took over 1.15 billion at the global box office, which is something like 82.3 million ticket sales. And you think, well, if the comic sold 100,000, where the fuck are the other 82 million? So now you realize that you're at MCM, right? There are 200 other indie comic artists there. Plus, and that's a tiny portion of the floor. The Comic Village, they've come leaps and bounds. It's a great area. I think what they've done with it is fantastic, but it's still comparatively a small part of the convention floor. You've seen the maps. You know how little space the Comic Village takes up relative to the rest of the convention. It's still the largest gathering of indie comic artists in the UK, don't get me wrong.
The last couple of times I was at Expo or MCM Comic Con, whatever they're calling it now, I remember having to actively be like, where is the Comic Village? Where are the comics?
And finding back issue sellers is also incredibly difficult. And the reason, for fuck's sake, one of their special guests is from Storage Wars. And the reason one of their special guests is from Storage Wars is because 82 million people go to see a Captain America movie and 100,000 buy the Captain America comic. So when they're making a Comic-Con, the easiest way to get people through the door is to focus on people from TV shows like Game of Thrones and movie stars, that unfortunately recently passed away, but the guy who was, R2-D2, that UK comedian whose name I always forget, who was one of the Ewoks. Little guy, name starts with an A. Help me out here. He's on pretty much every fucking panel show at least once.
I can't help you. I don't know.
He gave a story on Would I Lie to You about proposing to someone in an Ewok costume in a park on behalf of her boyfriend.
All right.
Yeah. Like, I can't think of his goddamn... I've got his face in my head right now, and it's grinning at me like, you don't know my name.
We ended up seeing Bill Bailey when we were last there, and we didn't see him advertised anywhere, so I think he might have just been a guest. Like, you know, just an attendee, I mean.
Yeah, that sometimes happens.
Yeah.
But the big problem is that, like, I will pitch a comic book to a guy in a Captain America costume, and you will get the response, I don't read comics, mate. I just watch the films, really. Now, in with that, MCM also has sci-fi, anime, manga, TV, movies, you know, video games are now a big part of it. So you're trying to sell to a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche.
Yeah.
And I just can't see that's the most effective way to do it. And I'm also at a weird point in life where I can't decide if I'm just really content with my life or getting a little bit bored. It's one of the two. So convention-wise, I think I'm going to change tactic. I'll continue to sell the comics online, and I will attend the odd convention, but I'm not going to do anywhere near the volume of conventions I've been doing. I've got to really figure out what I want from it. You know, I want to keep drawing Unfamiliar Skies. I want to get that. That's the story I really want to tell. But I've got to figure out when I take it to shows and how else I get it in front of people. Sorry, that was a huge long rant. You probably didn't expect any of that.
No, it's all good. I mean, in regards to the whole side of trying to determine like your target market of these things, I mean, with MCM, you know, that wasn't always Comic-Con, it was Expo, but then they changed it to Comic-Con just for the label. But the thing is, it's an incorrect label because a comic convention isn't a comic convention anymore.
Oh, there have been huge debates on this. Comic-Con is essentially an umbrella term for
Really is.
culture, and there's been a lot of debate on, do you need to have a minimum set amount of comic content in order to call yourself a Comic Con? Is it false advertising otherwise?
That's the thing. It's a really weird grey area, and I don't know. I think at the moment the state of it, I think it's a misnomer. I'd go to that extent.
Speaking of false advertising, to get back to video games, No Man's Sky has been subject to a lot of refund requests based on claims of false advertising. Terry, you seem to know a little bit more about this than me.
A little bit. So basically what's happened so far is there's been fake reports going on all day and yesterday saying that people are getting refunds for No Man's Sky on Steam. I don't know about PlayStation Network. Basically...
Oh, I can fill in the PlayStation Network.
Yeah. I bet you can. Based on...
Well, the amount of holes it has, it's got to be filled in. Hey!
So people are claiming, based on false advertising, oh yeah, I've been getting my refund even after playing for more than 2 hours. Because if you want to get a refund on a Steam game, if you played it less than 2 hours, you can get refunded, no questions asked.
Oh yeah, there are two. So no questions asked refund policy with two pieces of criteria. One, it has to be within 14 calendar days of purchasing the game.
Yeah.
And two, you have to have played it for less than 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah. And people have been apparently getting successful refunds beyond that 2 hour limit.
Well, they're claiming that, but there's news sources coming up like a matter of about a few hours ago debunking those rumours, saying that there's no special refunds going on at all.
So it's interesting because I was reading on Eurogamer about people who were quite disappointed with No Man's Sky, who had bought it through PSN, who were calling Sony and actually asking the customer service representatives for a refund. And there are a couple of stories which all follow the same sort of thread, wherein they got told, yeah, you can have a refund, however, you will never be able to repurchase the game. You'll never be able to download it again. even if you buy a physical copy, it will not run because the game will be locked from your account. So a lot of people on that basis decided not to proceed with the refund in case it gets improved or patched or the features that are missing get added in later on.
Yeah, I'm not sure I believe those reports, if I'm honest.
Well, the story was later updated to basically feature a statement from Sony saying that it wasn't true that, if you had a game refunded, you could never buy or download it again. People would be free to rebuy, re-download. And that if people did feel misled by No Man's Sky and were seeking a refund, that they should call support, where it will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, they'll look to see if they think you're pulling a fast one or not. Yeah. It seems reasonable. I mean, to me, you saw Jim Sterling's video, I think, or at least part of it, where, it shows interviews of Hello Games. I forget the CEO's name, but...
where he's being asked, is it going to have this? Yes, it's going to have this, but not in the way you'd expect, that kind of comment.
Or like when they say, will players be able to meet each other in the game? And he said, yes, however, due to the size of what we're creating, it's incredibly unlikely that will ever happen. And then those two gamers live streamed themselves in the exact same place at the exact same time. And there was no indication the other was there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was a lie. That was a blatant lie.
Yeah.
There are several bits and pieces which were lies.
Yeah, and the thing is, people are still defending this game, like, really avidly. I mean, again, referring to Jim, you must have seen the video about the fan base and how absolutely appalling they've been.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a direct attack. That was brutal.
I know. And, like, bearing in mind, we've seen fan bases of, like, Sonic and stuff, they pale in comparison to how No Man's Sky fans have been. Like, not fans, but these hardcore weirdos.
Steven Universe fans, bronies.
Final Fantasy fans, Kingdom Hearts fans.
Yeah. We love you all, really.
Again, we're only referring to the weird hardcore, not the normals.
Yeah. So anyway, the No Man's Sky, I passed on it. And the main reason being that I was looking at it thinking, this all looks very pretty, but what the fuck do you actually do? And that question was never answered for me. I've asked people now the game is out. I'm still not sure what you actually do in this game.
From what I've heard, it's basically just another generic survival game, like Don't Starve, that kind of thing.
Right. Well, sorry, why bother? The stuff I've heard is, you got this planet and you can repair your ship and then you go explore other planets so you can mine stuff to upgrade your ship and then go to more planets. And it's like, okay, so the only reason to go to a new planet is to upgrade your ship so you can go to a new planet to mine resources to upgrade your ship. That just sounds like a never-ending cycle of the same boring, repetitive, grindy crap.
Thing is, people like that. I mean, look at, look how massive Minecraft is. I just don't get it.
At least in Minecraft you can build shit. Yeah. I understand the guy who turned around and went, right, I'm going to recreate old-timey London and then set it on fire so I can just watch how Minecraft deals with the Great Fire of London. Like, it's a toy box, it's a sandbox, you can have fun in it.
Yeah.
I don't see the fun in No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those games that's a very analog experience that's hard to describe. It's like anytime someone's tried to describe Animal Crossing to me, they're just like, you can go fishing and farm stuff.
And every time you pay back Tom Nook, you just get more debt somehow.
Yeah.
Because you can never leave.
But yeah, I think it just has one of those kind of things where you just have to sort of play it to know if you'd like it.
Yeah.
But personally, like, I don't know, I have no incentive to buy it. That's the problem with that kind of thing.
Fair enough. I, I'm not going to risk it. What I will say is that, I popped into town for lunch and work today. There are tons of second-hand copies in the shops in town. Tons. Like, you're tripping over them, They're still trying to get 45 quid for each one because, gouges. But, yeah, they're everywhere. People just seem to be, swapping it back en masse. It's like Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go's reportedly already lost 15 million players since launch.
Yeah, but then they still got 30 million playing.
So they've got 30 million now, and they lost 15 million. That means they had 45 million, and they've lost a third of the original base.
Yeah, but still, that 2/3 is still pretty massive.
True.
And all it takes is for them to do an update at some point, and then that'll get people to log back in.
It might get people to log back in. Remains to be seen. One thing I'm definitely not logging back into is Metal Gear Solid Online, and I think a few people will be returning to it, though. Servers will pick up when the Metal Gear Solid 5 Definitive Edition comes out.
Definitive.
Oh, come on, the segues are back. I'm on form.
Oh, God. It's so messed up. The definitive edition of an incomplete game. Why?
And guess what, guys? The ending still isn't fucking there.
Yeah. Well, I saw in an article they mentioned about some DLC. What DLC actually is there for Metal Gear Solid 5? I'm guessing it's online stuff.
You're gonna laugh when I tell you.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
being entirely deadly serious.
Oh, no.
Horse armor.
Oh, no.
Because, that went so well for Oblivion.
Oh, jeez. For a moment, I was expecting you to say something along the lines of, like, I don't know, different bikinis for Quiet or something.
Oh, you're not far off. There's a couple of cleavage outfits, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know how in every Metal Gear prior to this, you could unlock the tuxedo?
That's DLC now?
The tuxedo's fucking paid DLC.
Oh, those cunts.
Yeah. So, Metal Gear Solid 5, the Definitive Edition, which still lacks a proper ending, you get Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, plus all the DLC, which is funny because I don't remember there being any.
Right, so far you've listed a demo and some armor.
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, plus all DLC.
Yeah.
And
Horse armor and bikinis.
Yeah. And Metal Gear Online, plus all DLC. So let's break something down for a fucking moment. You got Metal Gear Online with The Phantom Pain anyway. Literally, they've taken Ground Zeroes and The Phantom Pain, glued them together and gone, this is what we should have released in the first fucking place. Oh, wait, no, because it's still not finished.
Ugh.
I loved Metal Gear Solid 5 from a gameplay standpoint. It is one of the most playable games I've ever played. It feels so good to do everything in Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, shooting, running, jumping, taking over a tank, everything feels really cool. And it's really responsive and really awesome. But why the fuck did they have to release it in an unfinished state where, frankly, the plot no longer makes sense? Also, I'm looking at the cover for Definitive Edition. I think there might be a spoiler on the cover. Hang on.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just going to open the image in a new tab so that I can zoom in on it. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Spoiler?
It is and it isn't. There's, the man on fire is one of the enemies in Metal Gear Solid 5, and I'm going to say this without the spoilers. So the man on fire is one of the enemies in Metal Gear Solid 5, and later on in the game you find out his real identity. Now, in the game, when they revealed it, I didn't see it before, but as soon as they said it, I sort of looked at what you could make out of the costume and went, oh yeah. But the costume, they've put the man on fire in a particular coat on the cover of the definitive edition, and that coat makes it very obvious who he is.
Oh.
Like, you see that coat and you're like, I know who that is. Mystery gone. Have you played MGS5 yet?
I haven't finished it yet, no.
Okay, looking at that coat, can you work out who the man on fire is?
I don't want...
Zoom in on it if you need to.
I don't want to look, because I don't...
You don't want to look? Okay, that's fine. Perfectly respectable.
Yeah, it is on my backlog. The bloody games backlog. Like, I swear everyone has one of those these days.
Oh yeah, massive. Especially now that I got the bloody that Capcom bundle.
Oh, that bloody bundle.
I created a US account in the end, folks. Well, I already had one. I just had to log into it. It still sucks that they purposefully excluded the EU.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, don't. I'm gonna regret saying this. Konami are absolute dicks. I nearly said a worse word.
I've already said the worst word.
Oh, have you? Okay. Konami are absolute cunts.
Yeah.
Please don't give them your money. Just don't do it. I mean, this Metal Gear Solid 5 Definitive Edition is still an incomplete game. It still includes DLC that was a rip-off the first time around. And it... Look at what they're doing with Metal Gear next. Metal Gear Survive. Just don't do it. Don't. Vote with your wallets. I don't care if I never see another Metal Gear again.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, because because basically they seem to think that zombies are still relevant, and I'm just thinking, when were they last relevant?
Christ. Around about the time GoldenEye came out. I did it again.
Oh.
So there are two pieces of news on GoldenEye. The first being that the excellent GoldenEye Source, which is a mod for Half-Life 2 that's free on Steam. Well, the mod is free. You have to pay for Half-Life 2. At this point, Valve may as well just give Half-Life 2 away. I can't think of a computer that doesn't have Half-Life 2 installed on it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you don't even need to have Half-Life 2 for source mods anymore. You just install the SDK Source Base 2007 and you're sorted.
Do what Terry said. So yeah, recreates a bunch of the original levels for multiplayer mayhem and fun. Yeah, we haven't had a chance to actually prat about in this yet, have we?
Yeah, I was just thinking we should probably do that soon.
Yeah.
Maybe tonight after this.
We've got to video edit, remember?
Yeah.
Depends how much you want to procrastinate. We might have to slip that September 1st deadline again. You know, it'd only be the second time. Third time's the charm. No,
True.
It's not. Let's actually try and get this out on time. The other news is that there was some footage released of what would have been a Perfect Dark style remaster of GoldenEye for Xbox Live Arcade. And there's about half an hour's worth of footage, and it actually looks really good. It's a massive difference.
I'm wondering who actually worked on that, and I can probably guess what the reason was why they stopped, because licensing issues and stuff. But
they've already come out and said that there was an update. Yeah, it is just a licensing mess. It's absolute hell as to who owns what.
Yeah, well, I guess that's How old is that footage anyway? I mean, obviously it's only been leaked recently, but I'm just wondering how old this build was that they recorded.
I don't know. It sort of makes me want to go back to the remaster they did of Perfect Dark, compare that with the original, and see if the changes are as drastic as the comparisons for GoldenEye, because the shots, when they switched from the original game back to the new version, fuck me. There's a lot there. What did make me laugh, though, was that obviously 006 couldn't have Sean Bean's face.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like some random dude. You ain't 006. You ain't nothing. It's like that in the GoldenEye 007 Reloaded remake on PS3 that I'm slowly carving my way through.
Oh, where they had Daniel Craig instead of Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, and 006 is just unrecognizable.
Yeah.
So's a fucking game, to be fair. It's a real slog. I'm having to force myself through that one.
I never ever bothered playing through the single player. Me and a few friends just played the multiplayer every now and again.
Okay. I suppose it's serviceable in that regard.
Yeah, although the only downside is there's no bots in the multiplayer, which is like one of the funnest things.
What happened to bots?
I know.
What happened to arena shooters in general? Like, remember Turok Rage Wars?
A little bit.
Excellent arena shooter on the N64. Fantastic.
Hell, just more recently, Time Splitters.
Yeah.
Well, I say recently, it's like 10 years old now, Jesus.
Apparently Doom tried to get that arena shooter feel, but failed. I've still not got Doom. Everyone's reduced it to £22.49, and I've still not bought Doom.
I played the demo of it, and it was really fun, but because of the amount of things I've got to play, I'm just like, no, I can't buy another game for £20.
Yeah, way too big a backlog. Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, hell, you still got Wolfenstein, and that's basically the kind of experience that you'll probably get from Doom.
Oh, I've got New Order and Old Blood still to finish.
Yeah, oh my god. They're two of my favourite games this generation so far.
Very high praise. I gotta say, I'm not quite there with you. They're good, but they're not best games this generation material.
Oh no, I'm not saying best games, but like of this generation, like some, they're on that list.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, we're only a few years into it.
Yeah, still not on my list.
Really?
No, sorry.
Wait, you've managed to make that comprehensive of a big list, like so far this generation?
Yeah. Well, you got Infamous Second Son.
Yeah.
Was incredibly good. Obviously, what I've played of Just Cause 3 I really like so far.
Oh, I love Just Cause 3. I've put about 60 hours into that now, I think.
Speaking of putting 60 hours into something, Dragon Quest Heroes.
Oh, yeah, 52 hours.
The Ratchet and Clank remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, reimagining. Yeah, I could probably do it quite easily, actually.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, God, what have I played this gen?
Fuck all, by the sound of it.
I played a bit of Far Cry 4, and that was kind of meh.
Oh yeah, Far Cry 4?
That's not on my list.
No?
Nah, Wolfenstein games are way above Far Cry 4 for me.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Yeah, that's this gen, that's true.
Yeah. Can't wait for Xenoverse 2, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, although I'm a bit annoyed that they're doing that pre-order bonus bullshit.
Yeah. October, right?
Yeah, it's like, I want to be able to have Black as a playable character, but I don't want to pay £40.
Yeah, join the club.
I'm still annoyed that in the first one I can't ever get Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta.
I know, it seems a bit backwards, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, yeah, there's like Gogeta and there's like other versions of Vegeta, but it still bugs me.
Right. We
were on a train of thought then.
Yeah, I've lost it completely. However, I am looking at the topic list, and it appears we are at the end of it if we've not got any fan questions.
No, we haven't. See, this is why I used to put your question at the end, just in cases like these.
Have I not asked my question?
Oh yeah, you haven't asked you haven't asked one of your questions.
Okay. So, if Ben has 10 apples and Susie has 4, how fucking long is it going to take for Richie to get on the podcast?
Oh yeah, we forgot our Bash Richie segment.
It's a weekly feature. To be fair, we've not been giving him a lot of notice. We've been like, on the night, podcast?
Yeah.
Like those bloody seagulls in Finding Nemo. Podcast?
Oh god, that's a point. I've not seen Finding Dory yet. Was that any good?
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah,
Kids seemed to like it.
yeah. I
She
kind of
sat
want to see.
through it all, which was impressive given the runtime.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it, but I don't want to be one of those weird old dudes like seeing a kids' film at the cinema.
If you're gonna go see it, hurry up, because it came out the 29th of July, so I can't imagine it'll be in cinemas much longer, considering August ends tomorrow.
Uh, yeah, I'll wait for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, it probably won't be a long wait. Although, something I did want to talk about on the podcast that we haven't talked about, the first ever movie that I took my kid to see at the cinema, um, Ratchet and Clank, now out on DVD in the UK. Came out Bank Holiday Monday, yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, we're Tuesday today, so yesterday. I bought it on release. No Blu-rays anywhere. Amazon isn't listing it. HMV aren't listing it. Zavi aren't listing it. Nowhere is listing a Blu-ray of Ratchet and Clank. If you go on eBay, the only Blu-rays you can find of Ratchet and Clank are Australian imports. I don't know what happened to a UK Blu-ray release of that movie. And the imports, they want like 30, 40 quid, so they can get stuffed.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Yeah, why would you do that? Considering you can get a HD copy purchased from the PSN store.
Oof, I hope that's not a sign of things to come with HD movies, like Blu-rays just dying out.
I love Blu-rays. I like Blu-rays. They're great. Like, Captain America Civil War, you can get a HD home copy to keep on the PlayStation Store right now, but the actual Blu-ray isn't out until, I think it's the 8th of September.
Jeez.
So for some reason, it's doing like a digital first thing.
Yeah, a lot of movies have been doing that, actually. It's weird.
Well, this is the first one I've noticed, because I don't usually follow films.
Oh no, this is the first one I've heard of on the Sony PlayStation Store, but I keep seeing Google advertising it on the Play Store.
Okay, that's weird. I have been bitten by something. So I've just noticed, like, I've got this big old lump, which is clearly a bite mark, and I didn't realise until now how fucking itchy it is.
And you just had to share that with everyone listening, didn't you?
Yeah, all 62 of them.
So basically,
on that note, hello to Lupacillo, Koshoro Guy, Richard Savage, and Vince Hunt. Those are 4 of the 62.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, still here.
Yeah. Hi to the rest of you who are not commenting. So, hello, anonymous people.
Oh, hi Pete. Hope you had fun in Canada. It was Canada he went to, right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, we're just dribbling on about shit now. We should probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
Any shout-outs you'd like to give, seeing as I just...
Well, you never actually did an actual question.
That was my question. When the fuck is Richard getting on the podcast?
Fair enough. I ain't got no shout-outs.
Okay. Well, in that case, thank you for listening, everybody, and good night.
Toodles.